Yo, 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 welcome back, everybody. Why the fuck did I start it off with yo, yo, yo? How's everybody doing, everybody? I'm your host, Sean Rowland, as well as the creator behind this podcast, as well as XTV. And I hope you have been enjoying season two. Last week we had two back-to-back episodes. We had myself, my glorious self. We had Nina and Lola and Sam. And a lot of you loved I like by the time we're recording this, I just know a lot of you are gonna love Nina's episode. Because like I said, it's great. I loved all the guests that came on the show this year. They all did absolutely fantastic. And now this really isn't going to be much of me this episode. You won't be hearing a first segment from me. You will actually be hearing Aidan Harte and Alec Engelke speaking today. For pretty much the entire episode. So I hope you all enjoy. Thank you all for the support for season two. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel to check out all the behind the scene and blooper footage. It's going to be really good. And it releases. I think some of it should have already released. If not, you should be getting another one tomorrow night, which will be Sunday night on Talking with Shawn Unseen. So, like I said very before, like a minute ago, I'm Sean Rowland, and I hope you enjoy Al and Aidan's episode.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to season two of Talking with Shawn, a new era. I'm your guest host, Alec and Aidan. Let's get right into this episode. First things first, I want to kick off with what I'm planning to do with this summer. I'm working at a different summer camp because the other camp I worked at, I feel like I got treated not the best. They didn't give me the right support, and I got the worst kind of pay that someone could get, $3.50 an hour for a high school student, which not the best because a couple years I'm going to go to college, so it's not the best for me. So my brother went to the summer camp that I decided to work at, so I want to see what's there, try new experiences, and just have meet new people and just have a lot of fun there. And some funny stories that happened at my other camp. The first couple of days were extremely chaotic. This one kid, he was being made fun of. So me and my counselors were like, absolutely not. This cannot happen. So we had a big talk with them about what happened. And the next couple of days, things kept getting worse. So we all decided, like, you know what, that's it. We have to get our division head about this. So we had a huge talk with them, and it worked, but not totally. And a couple weeks later, a different kid, everyone was playing Gaga, and he didn't understand the rules that everyone else is kind of playing. So he kind of threw a fit, kept try to punch and kick people. And me and my counselors like, no, he can't play. Yes, he didn't understand the rules, but he can't hurt anyone because safety was one of our main key things for camp. Another thing I want to talk about is what I'm planning on doing for the future. And right now at my school, I'm taking a TV production class, which is what I'm really interested in being. I really want to make short films, make video content. So I want to, because using cameras and stuff is really interested in me. And for our TV production class, everyone in the class, we create an intro from a TV show. It could be from a movie or whatever, and we all work together on that. We all film, and it usually takes a couple of days, but it's really fun. Everyone working all together. And after we film the intro, everyone breaks up into separate groups. We all create our own segment, which it could be anything. It could be an interview about the school. It could be a skit. It could be kind of anything that we really want it to be. And we all film and we all edit together. So it's really fun to do together. We all work together. It's a fun thing to do. And after we all create our segments, we go live, which is can be kind of chaotic because everyone has their own studio jobs, but it it always works out well. And funny story that happened yesterday, we went live. Yesterday we were going live, but we had a fire drill, so it wasted a lot of time for preparing, like when to go and just practicing. But after the fire drill, we quickly regrouped and we went live, which went really well. We finished it perfect timing, and overall, it was really fun. And for college, I'm really looking forward to like a TV production or film kind of program, so I could recreate like my own kind of things and using my own ideas to make shows, movies, and hopefully be on a TV show just like this, Talking with Shawn. Another thing I want to talk about is most people love love stories, and I have decent amount of love stories that happen to me multiple years since kind of kindergarten. For some reason, I like this girl named Anna, and I didn't really know what love back then was, so I just kept trying to talk to her, and things didn't really go work out that well because when I was in kindergarten, so but next year I moved schools for personal reasons, and then I like this another girl named Chloe, which it was one of my friends kind of kept telling her, "Oh, Alec likes you a lot," and she she didn't really like me that much because what my friend did, so everything just went downhill for that. Then a couple years later, I just took a break, thinking my own thoughts, like, do I really want to keep going for love? Not really. But then in middle school, love came back for me, and this girl named Kylie, which people who know Sean should know about a lot. It was kind of bad, and all of middle school, I had a big crush on her. I asked her out too many times, kept everything kept going bad, but kept on trying, but it didn't go well. But she's in a couple of my classes right now, which trying to be friends this time and not go all love. And at summer camp, my old camp I talked about that I used to work at, I was actually a camper there, and I had some interesting love experiences there. When I was in 7th grade, 8th grade, there was this girl named Ella who I really liked. We kept talking. My friends, they kept trying to ruin it and joke around about it, but it didn't stop me from talking to her. And I had this overnight. I tried to buy her some candy because there was a little shop there. She really thought it was thoughtful. And during dinner, I decided to just go all in and ask her out. But the worst thing happened to me, which broke my heart. She said, "Sorry, Alec, but I have a boyfriend." And I was just distraught. And the next day, we went back to the camp, and she was sitting in the seat next to me, and I didn't say a word. I was distraught, and she knew how I felt for that. And another girl I like named Sam, she was really nice to me. We kept talking as well, and things were going better for this time. But one thing that really disappointed me, before the last day of camp, we were going somewhere. I think it was a zipline place. I told my friends, next on the last day, I'm asking her out. We kept talking for a while. I feel really confident. And my friends were like, "Let's go, Al. You can do this." And the last day rolled around, and I was ready. It was It was during the DJ party, which is the last event. And I tried to find her, but she wasn't there. And I asked some of her friends, like, "Oh, where's Sam? I can't find her." And they said, "Oh, Sam left today early." And I was really, really distraught about that. And that kind of made me disappointed that I was so close to get with her and ask her out, but didn't work out so well. And yeah, camp love didn't work out for me. And now sometimes for school, I'm still trying to go for love, but still I'm just keep working hard and sometimes go for if I really feel like it.
Powered by Riverside.
Another thing I want to talk about is overall, like with my family and stuff. My brother's in college, which I don't usually get to see him that much, which I'm sad. He's been a really big inspirational person to me. He's helped me out so many times. When I'm feeling down, he always helps me out. So sometimes I can't really see him in college, but when we visit, I always meet up with his friends who are really, really chill and nice to me. The first time I met them, I was scared because I never talked to college kids before, but now since I've met them multiple times, they're really nice and chill. And on New Year's, my brother got an invite from one of his friends saying about a party. And I asked, like, "Oh, I know this friend, so can I tag along too?" And my brother's like, "Sure, why not?" They know me, so it's chill. And the party was really fun. I met a bunch of my brother Will's friends, and the party was fun. We did a white elephant, which I won, a stuffed animal chipmunk named Jeffrey. One of my brother's friends was gonna take him from me, but he said, I just met you, that wouldn't be that nice. So I was like, it's fine if you took him. But the funny thing I told like my brother and his friends, like, I'm gonna hold Jeffrey this entire night, and no matter what, he's not falling out of my hands. And everyone thought it was hilarious. And even the photos that we took, I was still holding him just because I didn't care. And the party overall was fun. We did some interesting things. We stayed up till I think like at 4, but it was overall fun party. And maybe in Memorial Day, me and my brother are thinking that two of his closest friends that I know, we're gonna go to the American Dream Mall and just hang out there for the day. And because they're the closest to my brother. And for me, I don't know his friends that often, but for me, they're the closest that I know. And they're really nice, chill, and they respect me even though I am in high school. But they're chill, they're nice to my brother. And the funny thing is, they were his later friends. And in the beginning of college, he had a friend group, and they weren't in his friend group before, but later he met them, and they're a big part of their friend group. But I really like seeing them when they come over. And the good thing is they live pretty close to where we live. And it's always nice when they come over to hang out. Like with my brother, I join them and just talk about kind of whatever. Next thing I want to talk about is how has been driving going so far. For me, it's been kind of difficult, but it's really fun. I get to go wherever I want, when I want. But the one annoying thing is I only have two cars, which is my mom and my dad. So it's kind of hard to go where I want because my mom sometimes goes errands, but it's when I can drive, I just go wherever I want, just think my own thoughts, listen to music, and it's a fun time. And for me, the driver's test was kind of difficult. The first time I took it, I was not that hopeful because the day before I had had an instructor who wasn't that helpful for me. And the next day, me and my dad we practiced parallel parking for a couple minutes before we took the test. And before the instructor told came in, my me and my dad were like, "We will be shocked if you actually make it. I'm not, because this is your first time going here." So I was like, "Yeah, I understand. If I fail, I fail. If I pass, I pass." And I didn't really know how to really do parallel parking, but I went over the curb, which I was like, okay, I'm disappointed, but whatever. And still practiced parallel parking for the 2 weeks. And when we came back, usually when you get there, they test like the signals, the brake lights, but this time, the brake lights weren't working, so they told me and my dad, "Sorry, your brake lights aren't working, so you can't take the test." So I was like, "Okay." we'll get the car fixed and we'll continue going, and then we'll just take it later when it's fixed. And when it was fixed, we kept practicing even when it was fixed before, so I was really ready to take the test. And this time, the car actually worked, and we went there late before the place actually closed. So all they just told me to do the parallel parking, which I was like, okay, that's not bad. I felt really confident doing it, and after I did it, I when they checked it, I was like, "Look, all right, parallel parking is done." I did went over the curb, and after the K turn, the instructor told me drive over there, and I thought, wait, did I do something wrong? The person told me I passed the parallel parking. I didn't hit the curb for the K turn. I don't know what's happening. And when I drove there, the person told me that you passed, and I was so excited. I wanted to cry, but I was getting my photo taken straight after, so I just held it in. And my dad, when the instructor called my dad over, he was confused because he thought he's over there. Did he do something wrong? But the person told me that Alec passed, and both of us are really happy. And the car ride back, me and my dad, we drove back and we just kept talking about it, and it was a fun thing to do. And driving has been fun. I drive my brother places when he wants me to. Drive my family when they want me to go. And overall, driving has been really fun, and I can't wait till I'm 18 and I could bring anyone anywhere I want, no restrictions at all.
Welcome back. This is session 2. My name's Aidan Harte. So I'm a musician. I've been playing guitar for about 5 years now. I've been playing bass guitar for about 3 years and drums for about like a few months. I mean, I test myself with different instruments because I'm kind of a music freak, but 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 I'm also really into like the trade union, and what that is that it's these different trades that you do that you get involved in, and instead of going to college you would actually start working for any sort of trade, because that could include electrical, plumbing, HVAC, carpentry, welding, or some sort. And there's a huge need for that, especially in New Jersey, because like there's not a lot of people I know in our town that are into that stuff, but we do seem to get a lot of people like that around here from other towns, like Air Group, which is out in Whippany. Like I always see Air Group trucks around Chatham like almost every single day when I'm driving through, when I'm going to, whether I'm going to School of Rock, church, school, or coming or going back home. But but yeah, that shows that there's just a huge need, and hopefully I'll be able to get my training done, and hopefully hopefully we'll see what happens. Yeah. I mean, like, what got you into guitar and everything? All right, so this was like a bit over 5 years ago. So before I officially got into guitar, I listened to like a lot of popular stuff, like, and I still listen to some of that today, but not as much as I used to. Like I liked Flo Rida, I liked Pitbull, and I still like those guys. Like have total respect for them. I just don't listen to them as much anymore as I used to. But do you know the rock band Kiss? I do. I do. Yeah. So when I was like, and we were in like fourth or fifth grade, my dad took me and my older brother Jackson to a Kiss concert out in Newark, and I didn't know a little bit about Kiss at the time, because do you know the movie Scooby Doo with that involved Kiss? Yeah. Yeah, that's actually what got me into Kiss, and I knew a couple of those songs, but I didn't like them too well. But I did like them. But this was before my music taste really started. But I was sitting there watching them play, and I was like, Jesus, these guys are phenomenal. like, how do they do this? And they did a lot of crazy stuff, and the show was like extremely loud. And I will say, after the show, I thought I went deaf for a little bit, but yeah, but the show was awesome. And right after the show, I told my dad and my mom that I wanted to learn how to play guitar because I saw the lead guitar player Ace Frehley play with one hand, and I was like, Jesus, how's he do that? And they were like showing like aliens coming down from Earth and like this army called the Kiss Army, and it looked like a revolutionary army of some sort, and it was just awesome. And afterward, I started developing a huge passion for music. So like about a couple weeks later, I we went to Elefante in Berkeley, and I believe it was in Berkeley Heights or New Providence, but I can't remember. Do you know where Zita's is, the ice cream place? Yeah, that so Elefante is actually in the same exact building where Zita's is. It's just on the other side. So I got my so I went in and I got my first like practicing guitar. Like it wasn't an official guitar. Like it wasn't like actual strings. It was like plastic strings. But but I told them I was a lefty, and they asked me if I wanted a left-handed guitar, and my dad told me that you might you it's up to you, but if you want, you could do righty because lefty guitars are like not as common as righties because there aren't really a lot of guitars that are built for lefties. And I was like, yeah, and I was like, that's a good point. And I feel like that play and I chose righty guitar because it just fit better with me. Like in general, just fit better. And that helped me realize that I'm pretty strong with my left hand. I'm ambidextrous. So I do music with my right hand, but I do a lot of other stuff with my left hand. So both my hands have like their own unique talents. But about a month later, when I was trying to practice and get good, I started getting like really frustrated with my playing, and I was like, what's wrong with me? Why can I not get good? But but the key to me figuring that all out is just I just had to take my time because you don't get good at something in just like a few seconds. Like that's rare. You always have to like put in the time and effort. Right. But but if you really want to follow your dreams, then you just need to keep pushing. Don't stop. Because if you just give up, then what's the point of even going for it? So, and I remember this one time at Guitar Center. I forgot where it was. I can't remember the route name, but I looked around the section where all the acoustic guitar was, and I actually have it with me here today, and I'm gonna play you guys a song that just wrote. Well, I wrote it in like the beginning of the year, but I did write lyrics. I just don't remember what they are. But anyway, I was looking through the acoustic guitar section, and there was this beautiful, like brown, black, and a hint of red. It was a reddish brown color guitar, and it was just so beautiful. Like my eyes like gazed upon like the wood, like the kind of wood it was, and it just like drew me in. And when I asked the guy, when I asked the clerk next to me, I asked him if I could take a look at it, and he lent me it, and I was just like blown away because it was like a really cool guitar. Like it sounded good. It was it was just beautiful, and I've been playing that guitar as long as I can remember. And as years went on, I just got better and better. And before I get into that, I do remember the first electric guitar I got. It was an SG Pro Gibson Epiphone. Do you know the band AC/DC?
Yes.
So yeah, so
the lead guitar player Angus Young, he used an SG Pro Gibson himself. He just used a more like expensive and more advanced model. But my guitar was no different than his. And I've been playing, and I've had that guitar for about like 4 to 5 years now. But sadly, I don't really play that guitar too much anymore because I've kind of driven away from Gibsons and moved more into Strats. And I remember when I first got my Fender Stratocaster, it was like a couple days before the Pink Floyd show, which was in like 2023, right before we got into 20. I believe it was 2022 going into 2023, or it may have been 2023 going into 2024, but it was in our freshman year. But I got that guitar like a few days before the Pink Floyd show, and when we actually played the show, my the guitar sounded awesome. Like I've never had a cooler guitar than that, and I actually got it on Reverb for about $600. It was a used guitar. It was beautiful. It was in good condition, and you want to know something interesting? So when an instrument is like partially used, it's sometimes a little bit better because sometimes when they're brand new, they don't have that same sound. They don't have that same feel because sometimes they need to get a little used to get better. Like that's kind of the interesting thing about certain instruments. But it also depends on like how it's made and like what materials it is. Like all those come down to the all of that comes down to whether the inch all right comes down to whether the instrument is like good or not as good.
Yeah.
All right.
Powered by Riverside.
All right. Now back to the story. So I don't remember what I just said, so I'm gonna start on a completely different topic to like try and make it a little bit more interesting, but it's all good. So all right. Okay, I just remembered. I was talking about the Pink Floyd show in like 2020 in like freshman year, like right before getting into the New Year's. So that show was one of the best shows I've ever done at my time at School of Rock. Like there was a lot of other good ones, like the Rush show, which happened in like at the end of last year, and I thought that show was phenomenal. And sadly, a lot of people don't like Rush because they're just like one of those bands that have like a huge cult following. And I'm not expecting you to know Rush because yeah, exactly. Yeah, like some people may know the song Tom Sawyer, and that song Tom Sawyer was actually based off of a book written by Mark Twain, and I'm actually reading it right now on my phone, and it's pretty interesting. So what the book's about? It's about this little white kid named Tom Sawyer who stows away on a boat with an old black guy, and I haven't gotten that far into the book yet. I don't know how many chapters are, but I am like halfway through chapter 4. But and I can't remember what particularly happened in chapter 4. But in like chapter 2 or 3, Tom Sawyer into this fight with this kid, and they were like arguing for they were like arguing, like just being like kids, and then he like won the fight, and then he walked away. But then the kid like threw a rock behind him, and then Tom Sawyer got really pissed, and he started chasing the kid back to his house. And then when the kid got to his house, his mom came out and she started yelling at Tom to go away, which was pretty funny, but at the same time pretty sad because what the kid did was pretty unacceptable. But yeah, I love the book, and apparently it's supposed to be a book made for kids, but the book is amazing regardless. And anyway, speaking of Rush, another show that I really liked was probably Jimi Hendrix. And I did that, and I can actually name some of the kids that I did that show with because that was like a great show. Like Chris Whiteman did that with me, George Grant, Sam Keller, Sam Keller, Just Sam, and all that. Yeah, like, have you ever listened to any of his songs? Yeah, I haven't listened to too much of them, but I do. But one of his really good ones was Apple Cider, and I thought it was good. Like I said, I haven't listened to too much of it, but I do appreciate his music and the work that he puts out. And sadly, I couldn't go to any of his shows because I actually had a show on that weekend. And speaking of that, that show was actually Van Halen, and I'm a huge Van Halen guy because and I remember the day Eddie Van Halen died. This was during the pandemic because he had throat cancer. And he claims it was because he held a pick in his mouth, but that wasn't the case. He smoked like a son of a bitch. Like a son of a bitch. And the ironic thing is that people don't really smoke here anymore. But here's the thing. When I was in Ireland over the summer, I saw everybody have a cigarette in their mouth. Like it was shocking. Like it's not just like smoking is a huge thing in Europe. It's a huge thing in China, and I thought that was kind of interesting because really all that we have here is like vaping, and personally, I don't really. I think both are bad, but
Both are bad.
yeah, both are bad, and to be honest, it's not really doing it good. But sadly, people like some of that stuff, and there's nothing we can really do about it.
Yeah.
That's up to the big man, the people in charge. But yeah, aside from that, like when Eddie died, I was so heartbroken. But I feel like after he died, it kind of like motivated other people to like carry on his music. Because even after he died and the band disbanded because they just lost that great sound, people were motivated by the legacy he left behind. And I feel like I'm part of that legacy to a degree because I just have so much respect for him. I have so much respect for the band.
Yeah.
And his brother Alex, he's a phenomenal drummer. Like I feel like he was such an underrated drummer because a lot of people gave so much of the credit to Eddie, and I don't entirely blame them. Eddie, he's like one of my biggest influencers as a musician. Well, and speaking of that, Kiss, which actually motivated me, the bass player Gene Simmons is actually what helped them out because he actually saw them at a bar in LA playing like some of their stuff, and Gene Simmons thought to himself, "Wow, these guys are really good. The guitar player's freaking awesome. The drummers are great. They have a great singer. The bass player's good." Like, and I forgot which year that was, but thanks to Kiss, Van Halen got a shot at hitting the big leagues. And I thought that was so incredible because one of my favorite bands, it was influenced by one of my biggest influencers that got me into guitar playing. And not just guitar playing, I do drumming because my brother played drums, but he only really did it as a hobby. He like wasn't nearly as much into music as me. But we do like bands. Like he loves Pink Floyd, and Pink Floyd is also another one of my favorite bands because their music is just so timeless, and they tell a story. Like, do you know of Pink Floyd, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so one of the best albums they've ever made, Dark Side of the Moon. Like, it's not just their songs that are in the album, but the album as a whole. It's like listening to like a movie almost. Because if you just like listen, just sit down and listen, it like takes you to this completely different world. Because and another one of my favorite albums, The Wall, when I was listening to it, I was just like, I was just trying to picture of what it was saying, and it just like completely blew my mind. Because because my dad told me so many stories of when he first got that album, and he was like telling me of how it like completely changed his life, and I gotta say, it's definitely opened my eyes to a degree because the music was awesome, the storytelling was just amazing, and I feel like if I ever start writing my own music, I want my music to be like very hard rock similar to Van Halen, but also like very progressive and like very soothing to a certain degree, similar to Pink Floyd because they're known for having like really long music, and that's pretty much what progressive rock is. Like you're playing like the songs that goes on for like minutes and minutes, but it just sounds really cool. And another really good progressive rock band is Yes. And they have like probably one of the most iconic songs in history, and one of their songs is actually a meme. You know, the To Be Continued meme?
Yes.
Yeah, Roundabout by Yes. That's the song for the To Be Continued meme.
I did not know that, but
Yeah, yes, that actually came from this anime that I really like called JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Because the creator of JoJo's, he likes all these great bands. He loves Roundabout by Yes. He likes so many different types of bands that are from like our parents' generation. And some people still listen to those bands today, but just not as much because you also got Travis Scott and everybody else. And I have total respect for Travis Scott. I think he's great. I like the song Fiend. I don't listen to too much of his stuff, but there are some of his stuff that I think is good. It just doesn't have the same vibe.
Yeah.
Because the thing about certain genres of music is like you're testing like these different styles. Because like I also really like Post Malone, and do you know Ozzy Osbourne or know of him?
Yeah.
So Post Malone actually did a song with him on one of his albums, and it's the same song where Sunflower's on and like Circles, I believe. I forgot the name of the album, but he actually did a song featuring Ozzy Osbourne. I can't remember the name, sadly, but the song was just like really cool. Like it was dark, but it was like real, and it was hard. Like, and I'm into like some pretty heavy. I do listen to some pretty heavy stuff, but I try to expand my music taste. I just don't try to stick to like hard rock or rock and roll in general. I like to expand my taste. So because I try to appreciate all different types of music, but each genre hits me differently,
Yeah.
which is like which is what I find so interesting.
Yeah.
Because if you just like stick to one genre, then you're probably eventually going to get bored of it.
Yeah.
Because as people, we like expanding, we like working for stuff. Because if you just stick to that one thing, you're just gonna lose that feeling, and you do not want to lose that feeling. So to keep it going, you have to keep like testing yourself, keep pushing forward, keep pushing beyond your limits, and you just keep doing that until the day you die. And there's always something else to do. We live in a big world,
Yeah.
so use that to your advantage. All right. Well, speaking of all that, I I wanted to like get in on when I first started playing drums.
Mm.
So and this was actually just this year. Like, it wasn't too long ago, and it was shortly before I moved out of my house on 59 Season Drive. So like 4 months before we moved out of the house, I my mom asked me if I should give away the drum set, and I was like not sure because personally because I've never even played it. Like, it's been there for years, but I've never played it, and I don't know why I've never played it. But I sat down on it and picked up some drumsticks and started playing it because I wanted to see whether I would want to keep it or not. And when I started playing it, I would not stop playing it. And my parents wanted me to they said they wanted me to put rules around when I play it because it's loud. Yeah. And they were comparing me to Dave Grohl. You know Dave Grohl, right?
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Yeah, he was drummer for Nirvana, and he's the lead guitarist of the Foo Fighters. And personally, I think he's a better I think he's a better drummer than a guitar player. But and personally, he's not the best drummer, but he is a really good drummer. I love him. But what's interesting about him is that he's like a multi-instrumentalist. Like, he can play guitar, he can play bass, he can play drums, but he can't he's not the greatest guitar player or like the greatest bass player in the world, but he knows how to make a stage presence, and he's made some really iconic guitar riffs. And I'm also reading his book right now. I'm not halfway done with it yet, but it's called The Storyteller, and it's like describing his whole career and like what got him into playing music. Because when he was young, he would actually go with his mom to this jazz club, and he was very intrigued by this jazz drummer, and he actually gave him some lessons. And Dave, he was like, and he was like so intrigued by that music, like he would not stop playing it. And apparently he has a daughter that wanted to start playing the drums because she was really intrigued by his playing and like the whole music thing in general. And hopefully when I get old and when I'm like in my old years and I have kids, hopefully that music legacy can be passed on to them because I would hate for it to die. But yeah, but it really all depends on how you put yourself out there, and that's really all there is to it. There's no like shortcut to getting what you desire. And even if it's not music related, it's just important to keep trying. All right.
Powered by
Okay, so now I'm gonna talk about like where my Instagram name came from. So for those of you that know my Instagram, it's called Shred Nights 2112 and where that name came from is that the shred part stands for me because I like shredding, and night because I usually like playing when it's like more dark out because I have a lot of dark lights in my room, and when it's like darker out or when it's sunny out when I close the shade, I turn on all my dark lights in my room, and I just feel like that looks so cool. So that's pretty much where the night comes from. And the 2112 part, I actually got that from when I did the Rush show because during the Rush show, I wanted to come up with a new name for my Instagram account, and I did 2112 because that's actually a name of one of Rush's albums. It was from the album from 1976, 2112. And what it was about, it's about Earth in the year of 2112, and it's about these priests that are holding Earth captive, and they're in charge of the Temple of Syrinx. And there's this man that found a guitar behind a waterfall, and he learned how to play music on it. And then he brought that over to the priests, and he wanted to play, and he showed them music and how it could change Earth forever. But then the priest destroyed the guitar, and then but then the man was left devastated. And then he fell into a dream, and then an oracle came to him and showed him that there's more societies out there that like are still thriving and learning to play music, and all their dreams are living on, and that they actually used to live on planet Earth, but they left years and years ago. But he wishes he could go there, but he can't because he's stuck on Earth with how it is now, a total hellhole. But and after he woke up, he the, the most amazing thing happened. So it was this Air Force that were actually led by the three guys of the Rush band, and they were taking back Earth from the priests in charge of the Temple of Syrinx. And apparently they were all part of the Solar Federation, which is a made up thing that they just for the story. But after they took everything back, Earth was free from the priests' domination. And I just love that album so much. And 2112 is actually a 21-minute song, and it's the first song of that album. But but that one song literally told us a whole story. And when we actually did the show, we did that in three different parts: the the first part, the second part, and the third part. And I did the third part where I'm playing the part from where the guy discovered the guitar all the way up until he had that dream and the oracle came to him and showed him like the universe. And that's and just and not it was not just the music that drove me, and it's kind of similar to Pink Floyd, but what the stories they told. And I didn't because when it came to like music, I don't think Rush was nearly as good as Pink Floyd, but their music was just so difficult. And what I like about that is that as a musician, I like challenging myself. And Rush's music is so difficult. Like the timing is so weird. And I'll give an example because usually people follow timing like 1 2 1 2 3 4. But in Rush's case, they tend to make their timing super weird, like from 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 5, and maybe going from like 1 2 1 2 3 4 5, like time. And with timing, and what I mean by that is like you feel like you know where it's gonna happen, but where like the next verse or chorus or interlude or solo is going to come in, but it comes at a completely different moment, and then you get lost because people think it's because if you're like really into music and you like playing like really advanced solos or really advanced riffs, that's great because that stuff is hard to play and it's hard to get to that level. But what the real challenge to music is the timing. And when we were playing the show, that's like one of the things we had to work on, our timing, because some musicians just have such a great ear, they have a good sense of timing, but some people don't, and sometimes they need to like build up on that, but that's fine. But if you want it, you'll get there. You just have to work for it. And I said that already. But putting that aside, after I came up with that name for my Instagram, I haven't chose any other name. And then like a few months later, I started a shorter account with me like doing like some HX stuff and just me doing like just me doing other stuff, and me just like doing some other covers. Like really just like a photo, literally just like an account where I can just like dump like any sort of photos I don't feel like, or videos that when I wouldn't really feel like putting on my main account, because for my main account, I tend to be like very strict about like what certain things I post on it, and but for my second account, I just really post whatever. Because whether if it's like music, whether if it's like doing some handiwork, because here's actually a funny thing. One time I did post a video on me like taking apart this old fan that I had because it broke. So, but then my dad got me a new one. But but before we actually got one, I thought it was because the fuse was bad, but it wasn't. It was like really dead. Like the motor in the fan itself was dead. But I've been taking it apart, and I can't remember the last time I took it apart. It was probably like 3 weeks ago, just to like like get the feel of like what's gonna be like out in like the field when I finally graduate. But I don't know if I'm gonna take it apart any further because it literally has no use. Because I've seen I've seen motors like that at my Votech class there. Because if the motor's dead, then they're just not good. But aside from that, I'm gonna discuss like why I got into HVAC. But because the reason I got into HVAC was because there's just a huge need. And I have a friend named Carl Johnson who is currently a senior and he's going to be graduating. He introduced me to the program and I thought it was going to be really fun and I do like it there, but I really go there for the learning and I've learned a lot from that course. All right, so we're going to take a little break and I'll catch you guys later.